on Sunday nights we kind of walk through a series of the book of the Bible. We are on week 21. Week 21, we're walking through the book of Mark. Walking through the book of Mark. We're almost done, and we're right there in chapter 15. Okay? So we're going to start off. If you remember the last 2 weeks, we talked about Peter, the last 2 weeks, and we talked about him denying Christ, and then we talked about him doing some other things, ready to die and then running. But tonight we're going to dive right into this. But let me ask you a question. If you were guilty, if you were not guilty of something, and you were being accused of something, saying that you did something that you know you didn't do, wouldn't you say something about it? Okay, now let me ask you another question. If the penalty for what you were being accused of was death, wouldn't you say something? I mean, I'd be talking a whole lot, just to be honest with you. I mean, I'd be going, oh, you think I got ADHD now? You wait till you can do that. Remember that question. Okay, Mark chapter 15, verses 1 through 5. 1 through 5. And this is what it reads. Early in the morning, the chief priests and the elders and the scribes and the whole council immediately held a consultation, and binding Jesus, they led him away, delivered him to Pilate. Now remember, we talked about this last time we were looking at the book of Mark, that everybody was there. The Sanhedrin, the Pharisees, everybody who was the high priest, they were all there. It was a setup, and they were waiting in the middle of the night. And it says early in the morning, they were in the middle of the night ready to have this circus trial. Okay. Pilate questioned him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he answered him, "It is as you say." So Pilate asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he says, "Yes, I am." Basically, if I could say it in today's language. "Yes, I am," or "It is as you say. You said it." Okay, verse 3. The chief priests began to accuse him harshly. Okay, verse 4. Then Pilate questioned him again, saying, "Do you not answer? See how many charges they bring against you?" And so what was going on was, at the end of verse 4, Pilate comes in and he says, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he says, "As you say I am." And what happens is the chief priests even get madder, and they start accusing him of more things. And so, "You're not the king of the Jews," and they start accusing him of even more things, okay? And so Jesus didn't say anything, and look at verse 5. But Jesus made no further answer, so Pilate was amazed. Pilate was amazed. He's being accused of a multitude of things. And Pilate says, "Are you king of the Jews?" Yep. And go back to verse 3 just for a second. The chief priests began to accuse him harshly. Other translations say a multitude of things. And so they just go up with all kinds of things to accuse him of. Isn't that the way Christianity is today? That there's so many people who don't understand Christianity. And they're coming up with all kinds of things, and no one understands it. No one really understands unless you're a Christian. And so Christianity, have you heard Christianity is a crutch? It's a weakness. It's for the weak people out there. We need to be strong. Hey, you know what? You don't understand it. I'm a Christian because I am weak. Because I know that he's strong. And because he's strong, I'm strong. So, remember I asked you, if you were accused of something you didn't do, would you speak up? Jesus is being accused of a lot of things by the high priest. The only thing he answers, "Are you king of the Jews?" Yep. It's as you said. All these other accusations and multitudes of things. And Jesus is quiet. And Pilate's even amazed. "You're quiet? Well, why is that?" Well, put something in your Bible there and turn to Isaiah. Isaiah 53:7. 53 verse 7. Here's what the Bible reads. "He was oppressed, and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. Like a lamb that is led to slaughter, and like a sheep that is silent before its shears." fulfilled prophecy. Okay, Isaiah spoke about it, saying, hey, the Messiah will be quiet before his accusers. Now, leave your finger there, go back to Mark. Well, we're going to come back to Isaiah again. But remember, I can't count the number of times I've said this in the past 10 years of being a pastor. God, Jesus, being 100% God, 100% man. Okay? He wasn't 50-50. He was 100% God, 100% man. Okay? That's the blend. 100. So, he was 100% man, but yet 100% God. Now, I don't know about you, but I just kind of imagine for me, 100% man, if I'm being accused of something that I didn't do, guess what? I'm talking. I mean, you get a group of kids, I don't know if you ever worked in a youth group or not, but if something gets broken in the church, something gets broken in your house, and you go, hey, who did that? And then, well, meetings are going to start unless someone starts talking, then everybody starts talking, don't they? Well, don't you join? Yeah. Well, I tell you, you can always find that guilty one. I didn't mean to. You know, hey, but talk. Did you break it? Yeah, I did. Okay. Well, second. But if you didn't do it, say, all right, little Johnny, I know you broke it. No, I didn't. I didn't break it. I didn't do it. It was Timmy. It was Timmy. Johnny, you did it. I tell you what, we're going to take you out back and we're going to kill you. Johnny's going to go off. Screaming, hollering. He ain't going to go quietly. But the prophecy said that he would be quiet, like a lamb led to the slaughter. Fulfill prophecy. You know, it's in our nature to be fighters when we become accused. It's in our nature to be fighters whenever we're accused wrong. It's fair with it. Sonia's not here, neither is my wife. My boys back in the youth group, they were kind of young and they wanted to get on that ride. You know, you stand up and they go, shh. Okay, I have to go with that. But anyway, I said, yeah, you can get on. Someone threw up on it and splattered the whole line. Now, we were back far enough that we didn't get any chunks. I mean, it was good. But they had to stop the ride for a little bit to clean it up, okay? When they come carrying out the buckets of water, you know it's not a good thing. So I'm getting thinking about it. So anyway, this teenager, who was probably 17, 18, throws a pop bottle at his buddy that was empty. Well, I'm stepping back, my wife's standing in line, and I was talking to somebody. I'm always talking out there. So I was talking to somebody, and I watched this pop bottle. The wind caught it when this guy threw it, and it hit my wife in the head. Old Dad come on point, okay? And I said, what do you think you're doing? I said, you hit my wife in the head. Well, you know what he said? At the time I was 48. He goes, what are you, 50? Now, this is a big old boy. And he was looking at me, and I said, well, I'll tell you how old I am. I know I can clean your clock in this place right here now. I said, unless you apologize to my wife. He had like 4 or 5 buddies. He goes, you and Lord Army. I said, I'll tell you what. I'll start with you, then I'll take your buddies. And by the time I went like that, they took off. And I said, you ain't got no army. It's me and you. So what do you say? I said, accused. He was ready to fight. He knew he was wrong. Even when we're wrong, we're ready to fight. Now, good thing is he apologized to my wife, and all was good. The kids were right, and no one ever knew anything different. So the thing, I didn't have to show him that I was, you know, I'm a shadow boxer, baby. I mean, whoo, that shadow goes down. I'll take a shadow out. Now, a real person, that's another story. Okay. So anyway, we will fight and defend ourselves even if we're wrong. 100% man, 100% God. So he could sit there and be quiet. Think about this just for a second. He knew what was getting ready to happen. He could have said something. But fulfilling prophecy, he didn't. How do I know Jesus is the Messiah? That's one of the fulfilled prophecies, the messianic prophecies. That's fulfilled, so I know he's the one. So let's go on and see what he knows getting ready to happen. Let's go on to the next part. Let's go to Matthew chapter 15, verses 16 through 19. 16 through 19. Look what it says here. The soldiers took him away into the palace, that is the praetorium, and they called together the whole Roman cohort. Some Bible translations say garrisons. Does yours say garrison? Anyone say garrison? Okay, Tiffany? Okay. All right. Okay, so the whole Roman cohort, they dressed him up in purple, and after twisting, I had to make sure how far I was going, twisting a crown of thorns, they put it on him, and they began to acclaim him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" and making fun of him. They kept beating his head with a reed and spitting on him and kneeling and bowing before him. He knew that was getting ready to happen. Yet he was silent. Years ago, do you guys know how much a Roman cohort is? Roman cohort is 600 people. Now, the translations that say garrisons is actually saying that a garrison was the group of people, a cohort. A Roman cohort is what Rome would send to an area to defend it and keep rule over. So when it says garrisons in the translation, it's actually meaning that anybody who was not on duty at the time got called to come have some fun. Hey, come on, guys. We're going to go beat this guy up. They kept hitting him in the head. They'd take a reed, take a crown of thorns, ram it down on his head. I can't imagine what he went through. So everyone got a chance to do that. Years ago, I was honored and humbled that I played Jesus in a passion play. Miss Vicki, her and Tricia worked in the dressing room with me to change my clothes back and forth from scene to scene. Chris was the narrator and the singer. And there was a part where I actually carried a cross through the people sitting there. And man, I talk about home. I was home. And that leads us to the next scripture we're reading right here. Look at verse 20 and 21. 20 and 21. Oh, no, I left one out. Go back to Isaiah 52:14. Let's stick to my notes. 52:14. Let's just look at this. 52:14. Just as many were astonished at you, my people, so his appearance was marred more than any man, his form more than the sons of men. Does anyone else Bible say something different? Marred beyond human likeness. And that's what that means right there, is that the Roman cohort beat him so bad they couldn't recognize him as a man. But yet he was silent before his accusers. Go to verse 20 and 21 in Mark chapter 15. After they mocked him, they took the purple robe off him and put his own garments on him. They led him out to crucify him. They pressed into service a passerby coming Simon the Cyrene, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his cross. What I was wanting to tell you about carrying that cross, it was written in the script that I would fall 2 times carrying this cross. So I had this long cross, and I'm carrying this thing. I got Roman soldiers in front of me, I got Roman soldiers behind me, and I'm carrying this cross, and I would fall. Let's just say I fell right beside Mark, and literally, the Roman soldier who was behind me would strike me and yell, "Get up, Jew!" And I mean, he slapped my shoulder, sometimes about drove me into the ground. And then I would carry that cross up a ramp so that it was in the center of the room. I'd fall again. And verse 21 would come to pass where I acted like I couldn't carry the cross, and sometimes it would fall on top of me. And one of the Roman soldiers grabs a guy, Simon the Cyrene, and he carries a cross. Let me ask you a question. Does it say anywhere in your Bible that Jesus failed? I promise you can read all the Gospels, you'll not find that he failed any time. It's not in there. It's assumed that he failed. That's why they got Simon the Cyrene to carry the cross. But it's not written anywhere in the Gospels. It's just assumed that Jesus couldn't carry the cross. And the reason that it's assumed, we could even take it a little further and say, it is assumed that the beating that lasted all night long, that he didn't get any rest, he didn't get any sleep, the beating within the form that he's not even be recognizable as a man. And yet, maybe even at that time, the Romans said, there's no way he's going to carry that cross all the way to Calvary, to Golgotha, because he's just not going to make it. We've brought him that close to death. Maybe they had pity. I haven't thought yet, but we're kind of assuming this. But I will tell you this. I can't tell you the number of times that I'm carrying that cross. I start crying. We had it to where they held me up and whipped me. I had a garment underneath me where they could whip me, and I mean, they hit me pretty hard sometimes. And they'd slash that cat of 9 tails on that pole, and they'd hit me across the back. And then a couple of times they put a blindfold on me. They were supposed to come up and tell us who struck you. I got knocked a couple of times where I thought I broke my jaw. But there's just something about carrying that cross that I was so humbled that I can't imagine what it must have been like. Because I'll tell you, it's kind of humbling. That's also a little bit of humility as well, you know? And so I'm thinking about all this time, 100% God, 100% man, and he was silent. Mark, you said sometimes we take grace for granted.